I'm Micaela Espilinueva. Chapter 10, The Filipino-American War. The first topic given to me is Balanhiga Massacre. Balanhiga Massacre, an incident in September 28, 1901, in the town of Balanhiga on Samar Island during the Philippine-American War. It initially referred to the killing of about 48 members of the U.S. 9th Infantry by the townspeople, allegedly augmented by guerrillas. This incident was described as the United States Army's worst defeat since the Battle of the Little Bighorn in 1876. Filipinos regard the attacks as one of their bravest acts in the war. So ayon dito, ang Balanhiga Massacre ay nangyari o naganap sa isang barangay sa Samar. Dahil dito marami ang mga taong nasawi, ngunit naipanalo ng mga Pilipino ang laban sa katunggali nilang mga Amerikano. So the second topic is brutalities during the war. When American soldiers found out that Filipino soldiers as combatants were so determined and stubborn, they resorted to brutal techniques to soften their enemies' will to fight. The task of pacifying the Filipinos proved extremely difficult, thus the American deviated from basic rule of civilized warfare. For every assault made by Filipino on American troops, whole towns were burned and the women and children oftentimes become parts of the punishments upon the men. Torture techniques were varied. The most common was the water cure. In an article in City and State of January 2, 1909, quoting a letter of Private A. F. Miller of the 32nd U.S. Volunteers to the Omaha World, this torture technique was described. Now this is the way we give them the water cure. Lay them on their backs, a man standing on each hand and each foot, then put a round stick in the mouth and pour a pail of water in the mouth and nose. And if they don't give up, pour in another pail. They swell up like folds. The rope cure was described a light but strong rope wrapped around the neck and torso of the suspect. A stick was placed between the coils of the rope and was slowly twisted. Two American generals who were most notorious for the extreme barbarity they inflicted on Filipino insurgents were General Jacob Smith in Samar and General S. J. Bell in Batangas. The massacre of American soldiers garrisoned at Balangiga, Samar by Filipino guerrillas drew the retributive order from General Smith of transforming Samar into a howling wilderness. In a letter to President McKinley on July 1902, Elihu Root, the Secretary of War, stated that General Smith had given the orders. I want no prisoners. I wish you to kill and burn. The more kill and burn, the more you please me. And further, he wanted all persons killed who were capable of bearing arms, and in reply to an age limit, designated the limit as 10 years of age. This kill and burn policy emboldened the U.S. troops to burn 100 houses, destroy native boats, and mass slaughter of carabaos. It was claimed that about 50,000 people disappeared in Samar as a result of this military order after the end of the war. General Smith was court-martialed and was found guilty but was only admonished by his superiors. In Batangas, where General Franklin Bell was assigned, thousands were thrown into concentration camps, and many died of torture and illness, not to be outdone by his comrade in arms. General Smith, he proudly reported on September 1901 how he did his task. I take so large a command for the purpose of truly searching each ravine, valley, and mountain peaks for insurgent and for food, expecting to destroy everything I found outside the town. All able-bodied men will be killed or captured. The population of Batangas in 1899 before Bells arrived was 312,992, but in 1903 only 257,717 people were left. The Filipinos in some cases marched American brutality. Some buried their prisoner alive, others lopped off the ears and noses of their captives. Many simple hacked the Americans on their throat. So, ayon dito, ito ay mga nagpapakita ng mga kaganapan, ang mga brutal na nangyari during sa war na 'to sa pagitan ng Pilipino at mga Amerikano. Maraming nasawing Pilipino, ngunit lumalaban pa rin ang mga Pilipino para sa kanilang kalayaan. So, ang pangatlo naman ay ang end of the Republic. So, from the word end, dito na natapos ang kanilang pakikipagsapalaran. End of the Republic. The capture of Aguinaldo ended the Republic but not the resistance. In Batangas, General Miguel Malvar resorted to guerrilla warfare and continued the struggle in Samar. General Vicente Locban harassed and ambushed American soldiers until his capture on February 27, 1902. Macario Sakay, who had established a Tagalog Republic in the Sierra Madre, continued the resistance until he accepted an American offer on amnesty that led to his subsequent arrest and execution. So, sabi dito, yun nga, dito na, ito na yung parang wakas ng kanilang paglalaban. Maraming mga nagpakabayani, ngunit na aresto. Pero, meron at meron pa rin mga naglalabas ng kung ano ang totoong nangyari sa digmaang ito. So, ang panghuli ay significance of the Filipino-American War. So, kahit na digmaan ito ay meron pa rin siyang kahalagahan. So, significance of the Filipino-American War. The total number of American troops that were used in the war effort was 70,000 officers and men from February to November 1899. The average monthly encounters between Filipinos and Americans was 44, and this rose to an average of over 100 from December 18, 1999 to June 19. And when Filipinos resorted to guerrilla warfare, the monthly average exceeds to 120. During the whole period of the armed conflict, 4,165 Americans and about 16,000 Filipinos were killed and thousands were wounded. Those statistics include those who died or sickness caused by the war. Death and destruction was treatment used. It was even reported that hardly any town attacked by the Americans escaped burning. The reconcentration or zonification techniques applied by the American military to counter guerrilla activities the became the prototypes of the hamletting technique employed also by the US in Vietnam War during the 70s. The US Army troops were equally tenacious when faced with the stubborn resistance offered by Filipinos. Philippines-American War. American soldiers or white felt the Filipinos were inferior. 70,000 US troops sent to the Philippines were African American. African American newspaper believed that being there, African Americans were helping to spread racial prejudice. Some African Americans deserted to the Filipino side and developed bond of friendship with them. War lasted 3 years, took 20,000 Filipino lives, 4,000 American lives, and cost $400 million. In fact, the army song of the troops under General Arthur MacArthur told about civilizing the Filipino soldier with a crag refill. Dam, 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 the Filipino. So, yun lang. Thank you sa pakikinig.